Okay, I have returned. Oh man, this music is freaking epic though. Freaking A. Anyway, what up, Fire Mango? How you doing? What up, what up, what up? Yeah, no, there's nothing else going on. Yeah, there's really nothing else going on, but, yeah, no, just, thought I'd do something. Basically, it. But yeah, give me a schmeckle. I think I might play something instead. Okay, cool. Update it. So many updates recently. A lot of updates. So many updates. Anyway. Okay, did it update? Cool, I hope. Okay, cool. Just checking notifications on stuff. Alright, excellent. Alright, nothing going on there. There we go. Well, the mic works. Ooh. Carmelo Anthony's about to get indicted? Interesting. Let's check this out then.
We were just notified.
Okay, well, this is from the Officer Tatum. Why am I unsubscribed to everything I was subscribed to? This doesn't make sense. I done subscribed to him. Anyway, from Officer Tatum. Carmelo family in major trouble after first-degree murder indictment. Oh, buddy. Let's check it out.
Yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds, and it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made.
And his family knew that he was guilty. They knew he was guilty. The lawyers knew he was guilty. The activists knew he was guilty. They should have never went through all of this knowing that that boy is guilty.
Well, that's the consequences of not upholding societal standards for certain communities. It's just what we get, really. Honestly, I can't see it having gone any other way. What in the hell is up with my light? Whatever. Let's continue.
Let me tell you something that most people don't realize. Your personal information is being sold out there, and you probably don't. You need your information secured, especially in today's world. Now listen, a VPN is a great protection for data on public Wi-Fi, but it does nothing to remove what has already been leaked. That's where Incogni comes in. Incogni sends legal data removal requests to data brokers on your behalf.
Incogni, I believe another one that does something similar to this is called Aura. Honestly, you can just Google data removal firms or companies or whatever, or anything, or data removal request companies. I'm sure you'll find plenty. They all do the same thing. They're all around the same exact price. They're all just as effective as each other. Except for the Chinese scammer ones. Those are just, well, those are just criminals.
And now with their custom removals feature under the unlimited plan, you can submit specific URLs, even sites outside of your usual list, and their privacy experts will work to wipe your information off the internet. It's fast, it's easy, and you can track everything with your personal dashboard. Let me show you. Well, check out this dashboard. This is obviously not my dashboard. Nick volunteered his dashboard, but I just want to draw the contrast, right? Because he's an average person just like most Americans. I'm unusual because I'm all over the internet. So I want it to be fair so you can see what kind of things will be brought off of your information that will be protected. If you go and look at it, 571 messages have been sent. There's 72 in progress, and they've completed over 499. And that's just between March and May of this year. Total, since we've been doing Incogni and working with Incogni, they've saved him 374 hours, 44 suppression list entries. Look at this. All of these things are being removed. This is what you can look forward to when you work with Incogni. Take your data back today. Use code Tatum and get 60% off an annual plan at incogni.com/Tatum. I want to go to the Carmelo Anthony situation.
If you got the money, they're worth it. If you don't, unfortunately, you'll just eat the cost. Be right back. I'm going to check something. All right. Too easy. Okay. Let's continue.
I guess his family is coming out and saying they broke, they don't have no money. Let me just say this from the onset. It's very unfortunate what happened in this situation, but responsibility is responsibility is responsibility. Accountability is accountability is accountability. You brought a knife, you stabbed somebody in the heart, that kid will never see life again on earth. He will never come back. His twin brother will miss him for the rest of his life. No matter how much you cry, no matter how much you weep, no matter how much you pray, he ain't ever coming back. You'll never see his face. You'll never be able to hold him, hug him, talk to him, nothing. His parents lost a son because you decided that you're going to let you brought the knife anyway. So you decided you a gangbanger, thug, a gangster or somebody, and you're going to stab a person who say something to you and think you got claims of self-defense. So I feel bad that this happened, but I do not feel bad of the consequences that will come. And his family knew that he was guilty. They knew he was guilty. The lawyers knew he was guilty. The activists knew he was guilty. They should have never went through all of this knowing that that boy is guilty.
Not to mention how and the nine hells do you spend? I cannot fathom how you spent over $900,000 in what, a couple months? What is that? 300 grand a freaking month you spent or something? Freaking insane. Oh, shit, that's more money than you or me will ever see in our lifetime. Well, okay, I've seen a similar amount of money before, but that was before my first divorce. Don't marry Western females. None of them. But yeah, I just can't, honestly, $900,000, fuck, I wouldn't need to do shit the rest of my existence. Just hang out, have fun, and go on a vacation once a year. You know, spend time doing whatever the hell I please. With $900,000 or whatever they got. What the fuck? And guaranteed they pissed off a lot more people for how they spent the money and how they just languished all of it. They fucking A. What would you do with $900,000? Me? I'd be set. Get a property of like, 50 or 100 acres and, build a friggin' castle in the center of it. Jesus. With moats and crocodiles and everything.
All you had to do was take your son and say, son, what happened? Tell me. I'm your daddy. What happened, bro? Did they punch you? Were you all squabbing or what happened? You got to tell me the truth or you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. I need to know. Daddy, I got mad, man. I just had that knife in my pocket. I shouldn't have had the knife. I was mad, man. They was talking noise to me, man. I got mad. They were trying to punk me in front of everybody. And homeboy put his hands on me. He tried to go at me and I stabbed him. All right. I get it. Now we got to find something to do because you ain't going to win in court. You're going to prison. So we need to be focused on a plea deal. Take responsibility. Let's show remorse in the media. We got to try to get you out of this. You my baby boy. I can't have you I can't never see you again. You messed up. You got to pay the consequences, but we got to get out here and do what's right. Let's show remorse to the family. I was wrong. It was a heat of passion. That's what you say. And therefore, you're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to defend your son and you know he's finna go to jail. It's insane to me. That's why they broke. They wasted all that money trying to do propaganda, paying that nut job to represent him. I bet he was taking a lot of money to represent them, or he's going to get it on the back end. GoFundMe's. You're going to put this boy through a trial instead of taking a plea deal, instead of asking for a plea deal, showing remorse, telling you were wrong. It was a heat of passion, problems at home, going through mental illness, you know what I'm saying? That's what you get.
From their point of view, none of them are doing anything wrong, because the highest moral virtue in ghetto culture is to raise up the self. It's all about you, or me, right? That's what it's all about. Me, myself, and I. Started from the bottom, now we're here, right? And it's also morally and ethically bankrupt on every level. But the highest virtues in ghetto culture, right, which is black culture. That's black culture in America. Take it or leave it. That's a fact. The highest virtues in black culture, right, are first off, same for same. Second, all for us. And then third, all for me. Basically it. They don't help nobody or each other out for nothing. They're always getting each other into trouble or getting into trouble. And this is their whole mentality is that they're the kind who would say, I didn't ask to be here. And not understand at all what even saying that means, because they don't understand it. They're the exact same type that'll say something like, oh yeah, well, reparations. For what? You weren't even alive when all this shit was happening. You weren't even alive when we settled it not that long ago. So yeah. Absolute crap. This comes from that culture. And that's black culture.
All right, let's go through some of these clips real quick. Let's start with the news clip from the defense attorney. It's clip 1.
County grand jury indicted 18-year-old Carmelo Anthony for first-degree murder. He's accused of stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco ISD track meet earlier this year. Anthony was 17 at the time of the stabbing, and he's being tried as an adult. The Collin County District Attorney's Office released a rare video statement about the indictment.
When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves.
Anthony's defense attorney also put out a video statement reiterating Anthony's claims that he acted in self-defense.
We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be.
This freaking lawyer dude looks like a fucking future hipster from, from the hipster millennial generation. That's what this guy fucking looks like. Guaranteed he's progressive too. Guaranteed. You could tell. People are like, oh, you can't tell a book by its cover. Well, I don't know. You tell me. Does he look like the type that could do fisticuffs and then get to work the next day? I don't think so. Just say it.
Able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Carmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense.
Then again, he finished all of his law stuff. I dropped out, so like.
Case has gained national.
Okay, well, technically I stopped going to completion, so technically not a drop, but still, I think it counts. Sure, I can go back and return back to where I was and finish everything off, but it doesn't really feel like it'll be worth it.
Attention and set off a social media firestorm. Much of what's swirling online is misinformation. The full story likely won't come out until a potential trial.
There's certainly a lot more to learn The indictment really focuses on what we would call the elements of a crime.
Russell Wilson is a former Dallas County prosecutor who's not involved in this case. He says the misinformation could be one reason why both sides chose to record statements on such a procedural matter.
I just think it's a reflection of the serious nature of the case and the heightened public interest.
Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, sent us a statement about the indictment. It says, quote, "I am pleased that we are moving forward. With the first-degree murder indictment, it now goes into the court system. I fully believe that justice will be served for Austin Metcalf. I look forward to the forthcoming trial, but it will never bring back my son." It will be up to the court to set a date for the trial. In the meantime, the defense and prosecution will prepare their cases. The defense will see what information the state has gathered and will do their own investigation.
Certainly, there will be a lot more things happening in between now and then, but certainly when the jury trial does come, the world will be watching.
Mr. trying to look like frickin' Karl Marx crossed with the other preacher dude, motherfucker. Look at him. He's trying to be Neil Tyson, friggin' Al Sharpton. He's trying to be Neil Tyson, Al Sharpton. Who's the other guy? That preacher guy. And Al. If you know who I'm talking about. I swear to God, that's what he looks like he's trying to do. He's trying to look like all of them combined. I swear.
But
You remember that fat kid?
there will be a lot more things.
Remember that fat kid that used to go, "Hey, hey, hey." What was it, Fat Albert or Fat Al? Well, this is him now. Feel old yet?
Things happening in between now and then, but certainly when the jury trial does come, the world will be watching.
Let me reiterate this. And your innocence of proven guilty in the court of law. However, disproportionality of defense is clearly on the table as well. Even if the guy pushed you, even if he punched you, you pulled a knife out and stabbed him in the chest. That's disproportionate force. I mean, they would have to be pummeling him for him to say, okay, I fear serious bodily injury or death. Not just because boys square up to fight and you scared that you're gonna lose the fight, so you stab a dude in the chest. Even if dudes posture up like they're gonna fight you, you still can't use deadly force against somebody, because a knife is no different than a gun when it comes to deadly force. Somebody's talking noise to you, get out of my tent. They try to push you out the tent. You can't turn and get a gun and shoot them in the chest and go, I was defending myself. You can't also put yourself in a situation and then claim self-defense when you were the one as the priority or the primary antagonist. It's going to be a hard battle for him. Let's go to another attorney speaking about the use of force.
So, I somewhat disagree as someone who's been in a lot of fights. I somewhat disagree with the Officer Tatum on part of this, and that is the use of force. I believe that if you have it, right, you should be able to use it. You shouldn't have to do this steps of row, right? Rules of engagement bull crap that's meant for a war to feel less, for war to feel more like a sport and less like reality, right? I've done both. I've been a fighter, streets and cage, and I've been a soldier and a warrior. I've done all these things. You can die as easily from fists as you can from a gun or a knife. I've seen it happen. Other people have done it, right? I haven't done that to anybody that I know of, as far as I'm aware. Little shaky on that one though. Can't really, because in certain whatever, nobody cares about that. Anyway, um, I'm of the belief that if there's a potential for lethal harm, right, for the potential for a mortal threat to your existence, you should be allowed any and all means necessary to remove the threat. And people would think that going on that kind of reason and logic would lead to more fatalities. No, it actually wouldn't change anything much except for one thing, and that would be to open up more of the door for the agency of the individual to choose whether to be a victim of anything or not. And that's pretty much it, right? There's quite a few cases we would feel better about if somebody had the capacity and the means with which to have defended themselves in that moment, no matter where they were. No matter really the outcome. Although, more often than not, when someone who is armed and trained and competent and capable is attacked, more often than not, it turns into a self-defense case and not just another victim stat. Unless you believe those who use the self-defense gun cases as people killed by guns as a false padding of their stats for anti-gun rhetoric, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's continue.
The state has a very high prospect, almost to the level of legal certainty, of disproving every one of the required elements of self-defense beyond any reasonable doubt. This simply does not look anything like a self-defense case, a legitimate self-defense case, based on the information we now have. We can start with kind of the core issue, which is proportionality. So deadly defensive force was used here, right? Carmelo Anthony is arguing, I was justified in stabbing Austin Metcalf in the heart with a knife, killing him, of course. Clearly, that's deadly defensive force. So where's the deadly force threat? Remember, the legal question here is, did Carmelo Anthony have a reasonable perception of an unlawful, imminent, deadly force threat from Austin Metcalf?
I'm guessing they're probably gonna go by a metric of volume or some kind of quantitative measure. Right? So think of it this way. Me versus someone else. Anyone else. Doesn't really matter. Okay, there's a 50% chance I'm going to win or lose. I'll take that odd. Me versus two people. Right? Now this is compunction based. The reason and logic here follows that chain, but it's hard guardrails. But anyway, you'll see what I mean in a second. So take me versus two other people. Depending on their size, their experience, fitness level, right? A lot of those factors will come into play. And those will highly determine if I can even try to have a draw with 2-on-1. I'm already shaky with just one other. 2-on-1? Well, it really depends on who those two is. Of course, I'm still going to try to stack bodies, but when numbers grow, problems, the multiplicity of factors of problems that each body, each part of that, each added number will increase is tenfold, right? Depending on a lot of things when you do that kind of calculation. You're getting into fucking small unit level, like freaking shit at this when you're doing that. When you're literally at the point where you are basically measuring so much about your personnel that you know what their capacity is in individual combat, depending on weapon system, environment, and all of that. It's a whole different level of difficulty from there. But anyway, now me versus three. right? Me versus two, I'm going to start having problems, depending on what's going on, really, depending on environment and all of that, right? I'll still go. Mine's not really to question why, it's to do or die. But shit, that's a lot. Me versus three. Okay, these better be like some, Republican, Iraqi Republican Guard freaking level of incompetent combatants. Because, well, okay, a good amount of them were very tenacious. That was kind of it. But yeah, maybe not them. Maybe like the militias of Afghanistan level. They'd have to be that bad for me to be able to take that on and be secure in a victory. Right? Again, depending on many factors. Do they ambush me and take me off guard? Right? If they find a possible way to do that. Are they going to get me from distance? Do they have more assets immediately local to the area? They got more people, right? They can box me in with firepower. All them things. IEDs en route. Am I being herded a certain direction, forced to go there because they know it's either die that way or die that way? All of that shit comes into account. You can train as hard as you want as an individual. You can be as confident as you want. Nothing's ever guaranteed in any fight. But you do your damnedest to make sure it's a guarantee closest to your favor. But anyway, I'm guessing they're going with some kind of volume, quantitative measures to determine this, right? Like if it's one-on-one and they're just using fists, they probably won't count it as something that's really justifiable for use of force, right? If it's just one other person, it's like, well, you got an ass whooping, so too bad you're not dead and you're alive. So you can incur some serious bodily harm, but they might not. They might look at assault charges at most. What's up?
My mom isn't here yet. I wonder when she's gonna get here.
When she gets here.
Wait, is that crazy? That was one of the.
Oh, okay. Anyway. Yeah, shoot, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think they're going to go by volume. So number of personnel, number of individuals involved in this particular incident. If it was like one or two, they might not allow that to be a justifiable level for the escalation of the use of force. But if it's higher than that, they might, if they were all attacking him. Because then at that point, the intent doesn't matter. Multiple individuals attacking one, that's very usually something fatal. Especially nowadays. Well, anyway, let's continue. I'm going to stop ranting.
Where's the deadly force threat? Now, deadly force threats can appear in lots of different ways. It could have been a weapon in the hand of Austin Metcalf. There's zero evidence of that. No one's claiming that. But a weapon's not necessarily required. In theory, you can imagine a scenario in which it's not just Austin Metcalf threatening, as claimed, Carmelo Anthony, but it's Austin Metcalf and his...
Ooh, give me a sec. Well, that's as good as it's going to get, unfortunately, it seems. Time to keep going.
Also sizable brother and other members of the football team. And so you have a deadly force threat embodied in disparity of numbers. The force being threatened against Carmelo Anthony in this hypothetical is not just the force that can be brought to bear by Austin Metcalf, it's the collective force of Austin Metcalf and everyone who's working collaboratively with him to bring force to bear against Carmelo Anthony. In that circumstance, if Carmelo Anthony were being attacked by a bunch of people, maybe collectively that force is a deadly force threat, a threat readily capable of causing Carmelo Anthony death or serious bodily injury.
Okay, so it's about what I figured it would be. That makes, yeah, I understand it. I get it.
But there's zero evidence of that here. Even Carmelo Anthony has never claimed that. Not when he spoke to the police, not afterwards. So the evidence on the ground is that Austin Metcalf simply asked Carmelo Anthony to move and perhaps touched him. That's the evidence in this case.
Right. Now let's move on. But this is the reason I'm almost sure that it was such a simple thing that turned violent is because I have been in these situations before when I was in high school. And if Carmelo Anthony is anything like I was, or anything like the black people were when I was growing up, not all, but a lot, white people were an extra notch of frustration for black people. White people were an extra notch of violence, a violent perception, meaning that if a black dude says something to you versus a white dude saying something to you, you get more offended by the white man saying it to you. And I've seen it when I was growing up. Touch me and see what happened. And in my mind, when I was young and dumb, let this white boy touch me and see what happened to him. Because my mind goes straight to racism. I'm on this side of the tracks. They're on that side of the tracks. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. They really saying this to me because they don't like black people. They really saying this to me, and white boys think they better than me. And so let this white boy say something to me, I'm going to steal off on him. I ain't never going to let a white person disrespect me like that. This is the mindset of some young people. I don't know if that's his, but that's how I used to think, which is why I believe this escalated way past where it should have, because this is a simple, get out of my tent. No, I'm not. Don't talk to me like that. Two high school boys just getting in some beefs, throwing some punches. That's how it used to go. But how did it turn into get out of my tent, touch me and see what happens? And touching me ended up me stabbing you in the chest with a knife going through and through. I mean, you're just trying to go all the way through. That's why I think that's what it happened that way. White boy, touch me if you want to. Get out of my tent, man. We don't care about you. You know, man, get out of my tent. Try to.
I mean, I guess, but unfortunately, from all accounts, it seems like this kid was bound to do this to anyone. From all the accounts that you can gather, all sources point towards him, Carmelo Anthony, as being already on the path to murder. Everything. All indications, every pattern, you know, it was strong with this one. So if it wasn't going to be Austin, it could have been his brother, somebody around them, even their mother. If she had been there and the butterfly effect had, you know, flapped its wings a different way. This kid was inevitably going to end up doing something. And just like Officer Tatum here, at one point in time in my younger years, I was that kid.
Push him, and then he stabs him. Boom. Anyway, let's go to the Gifts and Go. Is this an old Gifts and Go? Updated one. They've raised the goal is is that 1.3 million? The goal appears to be 1.3 million. They've raised $540,000. And this is where the controversy starts. This is where the family is appearing to be desperate for money, and some people who once supported them is beginning to feel turned off. Let's go to clip 5. This is a picture of the indictment, I believe. Let's go to the tweets, clip 6 of suspicious tweets or suspicious spending from the family. Clip.
Give me a sec. I'll be back. Just gotta double check on things.
6, the tweet post. Okay, here it goes. This is the tweet. It says Carmelo Anthony submitted an indignant packet, which is what the last clip was, I think. Indignant packet to the Collins County requesting court appointed legal representation as an indignant, which means financially destitute defendant. However, just 24 hours ago, the Anthony family updated that their Give Send Go campaign to reflect a need to raise an additional $1.4 million for a legal fund, which is really $1.3 million. Carmelo Anthony's mother, who managed the Give Send Go, stated on April the 17th, 2 months ago, that they had just gained access to the funds. At that time, they had already raised $350,000. That fundraiser has now reached $538,000. According to sources, their current known attorney, Mike Howard, is more than likely charging a retainer fee of $10,000 to $30,000 and charges $400 to $500 per hour. Where did the money go? Why did they just need to raise $1.4 million? Will they be granted indignance? I hope I'm saying it right. And appoint.
I believe it's indigent. I'm pretty certain that's indigent.
An attorney with the Give Send Go amount that they have raised. Now,
God damn, man. Like, there are people literally having to jump over paycheck to paycheck. And this is irrespective of everything else. There are people having to jump paycheck to paycheck, myself included. And these motherfuckers get $900K. It really tells you everything about the community now, doesn't it? But seriously, I mean, like I said before, it's a culture. It's Black American culture. That's how it works. If you don't believe the music and the artist and the art and everything that comes from it that professes it to be so, I don't know what to tell you.
Telling you that this stuff is a grift. If you ask me what people should be doing and what they would be doing, is that if you know your son, if you're a fraudulent family, and I'm not saying they are or not, but this is what my perception is. If you are a fraudulent family, you know your son is going to go to prison for the rest of his life. How do you maximize money on this situation? How do you get in as much money as you can, spend as much less as you can, because he finna go to jail, right? He probably gonna get indicted. So it doesn't matter. You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an attorney when he's just gonna be found guilty. So you might as well get legal, court appointed representation and go from there. Because you're gonna lose anyway. Why spend $1 million on an attorney just to lose when you can get a free court appointed one? And then therefore you take all that Give, Send, Go money, all that GoFundMe money, or whatever the case may be, where they got the money from. You take that, invest that money, buy this, buy that, set this up, put a trust in place, get an LLC started, get a nonprofit started, doing all this stuff in the background so you can continue to ride the wave of your son's sentencing and everything else that's going to come with what Carmelo Anthony's going to go through. Because I don't think that there's a legitimate reason for them to raise $1.3 million when they raised $500,000 for nothing.
They raised $500,000 for legal fees, is what they said. Oh, wait, no. Originally it was for bail. Then they said it was for bail and legal fees. Those two can basically be combined. And then after that, they then said they needed it for security and moving and extra and a car and stuff or whatever. Some to that effect. Okay. Are they trying to set up their son for when they eventually get out of prison? Or are they just going to cut him loose and dry? Quite honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. Brother.
Need security? No, you don't. Yeah, they don't need security, bro. That's like me saying I need security. There's some knuckleheads every now and again that talk trash to me, but in reality, they don't want to get that smoke. I know they don't want that smoke because it's real life smoke. It's not keyboard smoke. So I don't think that they're in that position. To be honest, all these black people kissing their butt and gave them $500,000 and writing in there they hate the whiteys. So I don't think that's what they're using the money for. And
Again, sadly, it's just that's black culture in America. Which is sad because, well, everybody can obviously see how bad it is. I remember back in the day thinking that like we didn't think so much in these, or at least we tried not to. We wanted to think in a type of oneness way, you know, kumbaya and all that back in the day, because it was more about we're Americans, and that meant something above ourselves individually. There was a oneness to it, a unity. Same thing was true for communities, neighborhoods. People were a lot more unified, even if we were fighting amongst ourselves still. Nowadays, you think of everyone that lives in the U.S. as these separate types of entities, like black culture and white culture and, you know, mestizo, Mexican, and, you know, whatever. But it's all part of American culture. So even if one part of the culture is an absolute abscess wound that needs, you know, some blah. I can't even pronounce shit right now. Rubbing alcohol essentially in it, 90%, to clean it out and scrub out the wound, make it heal. That's still part of our culture overall. We may admonish it, we may try to separate ourselves and compartmentalize away from it, but it's still part of American culture at the end of the day. And it needs to be us all together that figures a way to apply some solution to it. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about all that. Sorry about the ranting. Let's continue.
here's just evidence, just so people don't think I made this up. Clip 7 is the mom saying that she's been able to access the funds. Roll the clip.
We were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds, and it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made.
All right, perfect. I don't know how Give, Send, Go works. I don't know how they disseminate the money. I don't know if it's incrementally. I don't know if it's they give it to you all at once and net 30. I don't know how they do it. But this was on April 17th. That's a couple months ago. So if you got this report and you said take a couple days, y'all got some money in the bank. Let's go to the Dominique Alexander's post.
That's right. So they should already have a $500,000 to use. But then they immediately after they raised something like, I think it was like 400,000 or 300,000. Immediately after that, they moved. They already had the property and everything, but like, or apparently they did. Some shit looks suspicious there. But apparently they moved. Well, they did move, but apparently it was their property, which I think they bought immediately. And they got a new vehicle and all that stuff, and they purchased security and everything, and, you know, a lawyer and all that. But if they're up past that point now, and they're still asking for more money, are they getting sued by somebody? Like, what's going on? $500,000 in just a few months? Damn near 900K? Looking at 1.4 soon? What in the hell are y'all spending it all on? Shit, for me, like, I'm a simple man. 500K? I'm retired. I don't need to do nothing. I'm retired. But that's crazy. That's insane. 500K, like almost 600, now close to 900, and it's only a few months, and it's all basically gone. What? Well, anyway, let's continue.
Which that dude is a nut. And this is where they wasting their money at. This is where they waste their money at. They got this dumb convicted criminal representing them, trashing the dad, making the public turn on them. It's insane to me. It says, today, we were informed by the Collin County District Attorney that Carmelo Anthony has been indicted. As many of you know, this is the first step in a criminal proceeding, and now the legal process will move forward towards trial. Over the past several months, I've worked closely with Carmelo's family to ensure that they have the proper legal representation and the support they need to navigate this incredibly complex and emotional charged case. Let me be honest. It's easy to go on social media and give an opinion.
Basically, it's just a wham, 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 wham. That's all I'm hearing. Be back in a sec. All right, let's continue.
It's easy to post without facts, and sadly, even some people who claim to be supporters have shared misinformation, not always with bad intent, but still harmful. This case involves multiple minors and sensitive details that I cannot and will not speak about publicly. This is why, from the beginning, I have refused to let this be tried in a court of public opinion. There will be a trial, there will be a courtroom, and NGAN is committed to making sure Carmelo receives fair, I think it say justice. I can't see behind the camera. All right, so what does that mean? Is this another tweet from him? So I guess this is a continuation of the post. To the racists and the bigots, those filled with hate who targeted Carmelo and his family, and even
Projection, gaslighting, gripping, shaming, rallying, blah, 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 blah. This is all I'm hearing on this stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
myself, you do not intimidate us. We are not backing down. This case is yet another example of what it means to be black in America. These people are so silly. Where even our self-defense is questioned, scrutinized, and politicized. My involvement, like many others, came as a direct response to the overwhelming hate, threats, and outside influence that have surrounded the case since day one. As we move forward, I ask that you, I guarantee this dude using ChatGPT.
It seems like it would be put together by ChatGPT. Maybe. He probably put at least like 30% effort in.
Most people don't structure it like this with emojis. ChatGPT will put the emojis in there. As we move forward, I ask you that pray for the Anthony family, stand with us in the fight against white supremacy, support the truth and due process. We're steady, we're focused, we're committed. Let justice speak in the courtroom. All right. When our self-defense is questioned, the self-defense is questioned because there's no evidence that Metcalf and any of them were physically aggressive towards Carmelo Anthony. His defense is questioned. His self-defense is questioned because he brought a knife to a track meet with no previous conflict with anybody that he was engaged with that day.
And zero mention safety concerns for him individually either. None. Absolutely none.
Also, he's in a tent that didn't belong to him, which is the first thing that's an issue. And according to him and others, they asked him to leave, get out of his tent, their tent. So with all of that being said, yeah, this is why people question. It ain't got nothing to do with you being black. It's because y'all silly. And then when you talk about racism and bigotry, look at the comments on the Give, Send, Go. Was that a Give, Send, Go account that we can move or just fixed picture? I guess it's a fixed image. So with that being said, these people are lying and being deceptive. The Carmelo Anthony family, what are y'all doing with the money? You should have made a decision to say, we're not going to pursue hiring an attorney to fight for our son because we know our son is guilty. Let's work.
That's actually a good question to ask. What are they doing? I think the parents are just trying to cash in and then say, things will be better when you come out, sonny boy.
Work a plea deal. That's what an attorney should have been doing, is trying to work with the prosecutors to see if there's any way that they can do a plea deal. Admit to guilt and do 50 years in prison or 40 years in prison or something like that with the possibility of parole. Instead, they got these hoodwinkers out here charging a certain retainer fee. They didn't burn through all their money, probably out there flousing and doing all this stuff before he go to prison, and now they begging for money. It's a shame. Saying that you're indignant when you have, I don't know, $500,000 in a Give, Send, Go account. And I'll tell you another thing I think they did, which was harmful and hurtful to their image, is that they probably was getting, all hyped up because the first sign of that Give, Send, Go was blowing up. It was viral. They thought they were going to pull one of these other thugs that shot at police or were killed by police officers or whatever, and they think they're going to pull that and raise $5 million, $4 million, $3 million. And so these high-power attorneys are just eating that money up. Take that. We're going to be on the news. We're going to do this and do this. And they charging you $500, $600 an hour, and they doing 40 hours a week. And then now they like, oh, shoot, we got to go to trial now. We done burned through the $500,000, $400,000, $300,000, and now we need 1.4 because the attorney is telling them, you need about another $500,000 if you want us to represent you. And then they got to go up to 1.3 million to get $500,000 plus dollars so that they can be represented in court to defend their son in this trial.
Makes sense. You know what? That's believable. 100%. I was thinking maybe they were doing something else, but that's a stronger possibility, I would think.
When they know he's going to be found guilty.
Oh, okay, that was the end of the video. Whoopsie daisies. Well, that was from the Officer Tatum. Carmelo Anthony family in major trouble. Oh boy. Disgusting family indeed. What is it?
Heart attack.
Huh?
I just had a heart attack because of being scared of the light.
Really? Okay. Apparently that's a thing. There we go. All right. Link it ink for everybody that's interested. Thank you very much, Officer Tatum. Interesting. Anyway. Miles. He's alive?
Afghanistan. It's not.
Wow. Last time I heard about Lord Miles, he was being kept in a cell by the Taliban. Interesting. Supposedly he's working on something. And he's alive still. Holy damn. Surprised nothing bad happened. Although I don't know, he shaved his hair, so maybe that came from something else. Anyway, I think that's good enough for now. Well, this was fun. Be good, be safe, make a good life for yourself. See you in the next one. I'm Badger 7 Axel, former homeless veteran. Blast Cat Badger out. I will say though, this music is excellent. I mean, damn. Anyway, what up, Fire Mango? Ugh. I believe the Series X is like $500, I believe. I was going to end the stream because nobody showed up, but hi. Fire Mango, they're 600. Oh, buddy. So they're probably like, it's probably like 550-ish, and then probably like $50 extra charges and tax and all that shit and insurance. Shipping and handling. Bought it just so I could play my favorite game of all time, Titanfall 1. What about Titanfall 2? Is Titanfall 2, or was it that just that you had to choose which one? They were both great for me. Titanfall 2 is objectively better. Honestly, I forgot the story of Titanfall 1. I don't remember the story of it. I remember I remember the story of Titanfall 2, where he inherits the machine. But I prefer the art style, feel, and Titans of Titanfall 1. Oh, okay. All right, understandable. So if there's $600 for a Series X, and I trade in my S, damn, that's like a $250 difference. Or like $260, I believe. Oh yeah, that's right. There is no TTS tonight. I totally forgot about that. Absolutely forgot. Oh well, too bad, so sad. Anyway, after I'm done doing everything I can, I'm gonna start re-uploading in the next couple days. I've given everything time to simmer and You know, it's time to look under the lid, check to see if everything's, see what's well done and what to eat and what to throw away. TF2 has the best movement of any game ever. Man, can you imagine if they had carried forward with their plans for 3 this year? I mean, there was potential for it to be woke slop, but could you imagine if they actually did things right and like just made a better Titanfall 2? Could you imagine? That'd be insane. Frickin', you'd be able to mantle with your Titan, jump off a building onto another Titan and grapple and shit. Yeah, I know, it sucks. Very much sucks. Third time it's been canceled. Movement cannot literally get better. But the Titan movement is why TF2 is shit. They don't feel like mechs. So you like that heavy, thunky, plodding feel of machinery. You ever played Mech Warrior 5? Because that game is loaded with it. And it's a real good game. For what it is. I know Battletech. Okay, I figured either you would like it or you already do. I own the game and all the DLCs. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I was like, when you were saying about the movement, I'm like, They didn't feel like real machines. You're the type that would probably buy a stick shift just because you like the feel of the gears. That's what stuck out to me. Oh, she's a cutie. This one. I'll take this one, please. And she's a martial artist. Our workout sessions will be legendary. You have the Steel Battalion controller. Steel Battalion. Steel Battalion controller. I don't think I saw the Steel Battalion style controller. Wonder what it looks like. Ah, that's right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot all about it. I was like, huh, wait, why does that sound familiar? Yeah, man, that and everybody forgot about Fire Warrior from back then. Old PS2 game, I believe. PS1 or PS2? Yeah, it was like Fire Warrior 40,000 or something like that. Yeah, it was Warhammer 40k Fire Warrior. That's right. Fire Warrior. When you got to screw up what everybody thinks is the good guys. For humanity, they're kind of the good guys. Anyway. Yeah, freaking man. Conquer Live and Reloaded. I missed that freaking squirrel. But yeah, Fire Mango, I think if you scale up, right, the human body's dimensions, you can create a basis for a workable mech that can move similarly to how, you know, like a blend between Titanfall 2 and like one of those animations from the Warhammer 40k for the Titan movements, where the Titans are like fighting each other. You can approximate up to that. Give me a sec, I'm gonna check on stuff. Okay. I am back. Okay. Monarch from TF2 is closer to TF1 because TF1 Titans are ultra customizable, whereas TF2 they were almost hero classes. I love my TF2 Papa Scorch. I would prefer being able to customize when I'm using, and Monarch struck a better balance and was closer to what TF3 Titan design was going to be. But also people forgot about Titanfall Assault and Inline, which was a mobile game and a Chinese exclusive continuation of TF1, which had an exclusive baller-ass destroyer Titan. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know the lore was that deep. But yeah, I know. I get what you mean. Losing customization doesn't seem like very fun. They made Titans weak in Titanfall. Oh shit, so true. Yeah, you would think they would add some geomod on top of that, right? You're in a Titan. Why can't I rip apart this floor of the building to get at the dude that's in there? Right? I mean, let's look this up real quick. Titanfall Titans, all right? Shoot, just give me a good death glare looking picture, can you? But okay, whatever. This is leading me down a rabbit hole. I don't like it. Give me a good solid picture. Okay, whatever, good enough. Not really though, it's not that big. What the hell is up with all these pictures? Okay, whatever. I can, you're telling me I can be in this, like, thing. What in the fuck? Images. There we go. Good picture, right? You're telling me I can be in this monstrosity with all that power and agility, and when a player is inside of a building, a structure that is inferior to me in my giant hulking robot with robot hands, that I can't just rip apart the building to get at the player? Right? Give me a sec. Gotta check stuff again. Hey, what's up, JD? How you doing? Okay, I am back. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm sorry. I got a lot on my plate. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Inside of Titan. Gameplay and stuff. Yeah. Why can't I rip apart that part of the building that the enemy just hopped into, just rip it open and gun them down? Or at least smash them. Or smash through the building to smash them. Right? Why can't we do that? That'd be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be cool? Somebody goes through a window, you just take your bus-sized fist and just shove it through the window. Trying to get at them. That'd be cool, I think. But wouldn't that be cool? That would add a whole new element to the cat and mouse game being played. That would force people to commit. Especially if the Titans can, like, leap onto the building and just crush the whole thing. Just freaking... But yeah, freaking crazy. That would be cool though, I think. Right? I think it'd be cool to like climb up the building. If it can hold me. And then like another Titan comes around and I just drop on him. Anyway, what's up, JD? I'm alive. My ex hasn't killed me yet. I'm getting along for now. JD, I would love to see a reaction to Slaughter to Prevail. The song is Viking. Slaughter to Prevail? Put it in the Discord, and I'll get to it tomorrow. I can't do it live on stream because it's copyright. Okay. Bing, there you go. There's the Discord link. Put it in, you could take a link and you could post it there in the Discord, and then I could just take it from there. That way I don't mistakenly look for the wrong thing. Also easier all the way around. Fire Mango. Most of Apex maps were originally Titanfall maps. Areas 1-for-1. Oh, okay. That is interesting. They were made by the same company? Apex and Titanfall? That's interesting. Apex is the same universe as Titanfall? That's crazy. And then EA came in and, oh man, that sucks. That quadruply sucks. Yeah, I'll look into that tomorrow, JD. I got you on the Discord, though. TF1's team were all the guys who left Call of Duty for Modern Warfare 2. Okay. Too squeezy. That's very interesting. Then again, the gaming industry is not as giant and monolithic and spread out as people think it is. Freaking hell. Sweet Baby Inc. was contracted to like 90% of them. They're not that big. How am I doing? Any more requests for tonight or no? Sure, if they're non-copyright. If they're non-copyright requests, then I'll do them live on stream. But if they are copyright, they gotta be an upload. But yeah, I'm alive. That's about it. I was gonna end the stream earlier because I had to restart it anyway. And usually that means YouTube is screwing with me. Lyric, Noel Cry, Little Sister cover. Lyric Noel. Oh, that's the name of the singer. Lyric Noel, huh? Interesting. Yeah, I can't take a chance on that. But if it's a request that potentially is copyright, because it looks potentially like it will be, then yeah, just put it in the Discord. I'll mix it in with the rest of the requests. I'm talking about stuff that has no potential for copywriting the stream. Like a ghost video or Mr. Ballin or the latest politics or news or whatever. Yes, that is her name, and she is from Texas. Well, she's beautiful, so there's that. Man, I want whoever her bankroller is. I swear to God, it's so easy for them. They just appear on the screen and everybody hands them money. But yeah, she's beautiful, by the way. I like her like this. I like her like this. Makes me feel like I could charge in with the sword. Have at thee, witch. JD, from what I've seen, no one's been getting hit with copyright reacting to our videos. Well, because if you are, well, of course, you can still, like, here's the thing, is that if you upload copyrighted content, right? Well, oh, okay, have a good night, Fire Mango. And it's fine, I'll see you next time, bub. Enjoy your Xbox Series X. I'm seriously jealous. That's my next goal. Maybe in a couple of years I'll afford one. But anyway, JD, when you upload videos, actually, tell you what, I'll just show it to you. Okay, so when you upload content, this is what it looks like when it's finalized. These are the rows and columns of all the latest content. Damn, some of these are lacking. Okay, so I need to do less Lana Del Rey and less Ryan and a lot more of the Love Bites. Look at those numbers go. Anyway, but yeah, so when you upload content and it's copyright, this is what that looks like. Okay, so for the vast majority use of cases, right, the copyright protected content that's contained in the video is allowed for free use. You just can't make money from it, essentially. And they can restrict it however else they like, really, because it's their platform. But that's how that works out. I can still upload them if they're copyright, but I can only do them as uploads. I can't do it live because they'll shut down the live stream. They will literally cut it off if they detect copyright content. And by the way, the transparency trick doesn't work for me. I have been almost smacked with the nuclear button twice now, trying to do the transparency trick. I tried all three of them. They didn't work. And it wasn't because I was trying to steal anything. I was just trying to do what I'm doing right now. Commentary, talking about it, engaging, right? Making content, streaming, right? Sitting here talking to you, answering questions, having a conversation. But because of the nature of copyright stuff, like copyright domain and all that, it's a finicky business, even if your intentions are not to be a thief, right? So yeah. I mean, hell, there's some stuff that they do more than just, because if it's public or it has an age restriction, that means it's available to be seen and viewed. If it's partially blocked, though, that means they really ramped up the censorship on it. So this is however many views this will be stuck at. The Taylor Swift one. Maybe I should have done more with a thumbnail here. If you're worried about, I get most of the reactors that I watch that do live requests. It seems to work. That may not work for everyone. Just trying to give you some ideas. That's all. Yeah. Trouble is that I've literally had Team YouTube try to swat me to death. So I'm literally under very, very sharp scrutiny by YouTube. They have quite literally tried to end my life. But yeah, put this in the Discord. I'll check it out tomorrow. Oh, my back. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I was too when it all got figured out in the end. But yeah, that was before they nuked me for the fifth through 10th times. I've been nuked a lot on this place. I just refuse to stay dead. JD Sebring, is that why you went away for a while? Because I've been subscribed to you for a long time, and you just kind of fell off for a bit. Yeah. Yeah. I got deleted by YouTube. Yeah, I got straight up nuked. That sucks, bro. I'm glad you're back though. Well, I appreciate it. I'm partly not glad because I have to restart, you know, a 10th of a lifetime's worth of work again for the 11th time. And I'm only getting older. I know I look good, but the mileage is starting to show. JD, I'll do what I can to push out the content for you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Anyway, man. I was gonna do something else, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just stream all day tomorrow, see what happens. Because honestly, it's supposed to be Nelia that's doing the streams. I don't know if you've met Nelia yet. If you see like a stream that's got like the, it's got like the cutesy, it's all cutesy or whatever, or it's like worded nicely, that's Nelia. JD, you'll always have my respect. Being that you're a vet, I just want to say thank you for your service. Much love. I appreciate it, JD. I do. But yeah, freaking, I messaged Nelia like an hour ago, so hopefully she decides to do something soon so I can sleep more. So I can sleep. I want to sleep. It's just that I gotta keep doing stuff on the channel or it just dies again. And YouTube's throttling me. Otherwise, I'd be back in the tens of thousands of subs right now. But yeah, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you. Anyway, that being said, JD, looks like I'm the only one here. If you'd like to end your stream and get some rest, go for it. Yeah, I think the other one is on Twitch, and I think it's just the I think it's just this stream. What am I calling it? Yeah, I think the one that's on Twitch is just the stream monitor. Well, anyway, again, I recommend White Bat Audio for all of your White Bat Audio type style of music you would like to listen to. Synthwave and all, rock and everything. But yeah, now I'll try that tomorrow. I forgot that somebody gifted me a game and they wanted me to play it, and I owe them, so I should definitely see about that. Anyway, JD, good seeing you. I'll try to pump out those videos tomorrow. Let it be noted, I will be extremely what's the word they use nowadays? Cooked? I'll be cooked tomorrow. I think that's how you use it. Anyway, thanks for showing up, JD. Appreciate it. Everybody else, thank you very much. And I'll see you all in the next one. I'm Badger 7 Actual, the formerly homeless veteran. Blast Cat Badger, out.